Arsenal returned to winning ways after beating Shakhtar 1-0 at the Emirates to continue their brilliant Champions League form. Now, while the game was not clean and the performance was not clean by any means, Arsenal got the win, which is the most important thing. And in this video, we're going to go through everything that happened in the game and why Arsenal need to play better in the future. So let's get into it. Now, first of all, the most important thing today was getting a bounce back result where we could win after the Bournemouth loss on the weekend. And although I think the performance overall was very poor, we got the win in the end against a team that we should be beating, but that's not really what is important. We needed the 3 points and we still haven't conceded in the Champions League. Now, from the positive side, I do think some of our players had really good games. I think Havertz worked really hard and later on in the game was still very good on the ball. I thought Thomas Partey was probably our man of the match. I think I might do another video about him. He was fabulous in midfield in the first half, and then in the second half when he moved to right back, it weren't really fair on him, but I do think he was decent. Made a few mistakes, but you can't really blame him because that's not his right position. I also thought Martinelli down the left-hand side was incredible. His crosses became really impressive. He basically contributed to the goal that we scored, and he actually created a lot within the game. It's one of the best performances by Martinelli, being the out-and-out attacker that we had. In this game, Arsenal also set up in a 4-2-4 or a 4-4-2, whatever you kind of like, with Trossard and Havertz as the two strikers / midfielders that would come deeper. I still think this is the best solution that Arsenal have without Odegaard in there, because it does allow more build-up from midfield where either wall can come deeper and one can go up front, and they can work off each other very well. Now, individually, we can argue Trossard had quite a poor game, and I think I would definitely agree with that, but I do think systematically that works better. However, it does not work incredibly without Saka on the pitch, and I think that is quite evident. Now, this is my first big negative that I have to say, and it is why we continue not to play creative players in the team. I said Waneri should start this game. Who would have known? He got 0 minutes yet again, and Arsenal still didn't create that many good opportunities. Now, yes, we did miss a few really key opportunities, you could say, but I still don't think against a team that we should be utterly dominating and keeping in our own box. We had 3 or 4 quite good chances and scored an own goal, and that was about it. We didn't exactly overall dominate them, and we only had 3 shots on target throughout the whole game, which is definitely not good enough. I will say our fullbacks continue to be an issue. In this game, we started with Ben White and Calafiori, and I actually felt Calafiori played quite well in this game, but Ben White was knackered after about 1 run back, and in the end had to be subbed off at half-time, also picking up a yellow in that first half. So I don't know what that buys for us well later on. That's why we had to move Partey into right back and Marino had to come into midfield. And unfortunately, Calafiori picked up what looks to be a knee injury in the second half. Now, yet again, it's going to be up in the air whether he plays or whether he's actually fine, because he did and was able to walk quite a lot after it and ends up walking down the tunnel, and maybe it's a precautionary thing, but he definitely wasn't happy after he twisted his knee, losing the ball in our final third, which yet again, it just seems like our fullbacks continuously get injured. And I've said with the outgoings of Timber, who got taken off for a precautionary against PSG, we haven't seen for nearly a month now, and Tomiyasu is just not reliable enough. So Lewis Skelly ended up coming on and he didn't really get the ball a lot, but he may have to be the solution that we play for Liverpool. Now, although Arsenal did win this game, overall that's all I've been thinking about is the Liverpool game at the weekend. I wanted us to rest players in this game for that exact reason. We don't want to pick any more injuries up, and I don't think our main team played well anyway, and I still don't think in this game that some of these players deserve to be in that team. We needed more attacking, more creative output. I think Rice in that left centre mid spot in the first half was practically useless. He was much better when you put him in that defensive midfield role. So yet again, what is the point of him playing if we're not going to use him to the best of his ability? I think sometimes our defenders were really shaky. Now, I know a lot of people are going to forgive him credit. We kept a clean sheet, and I think overall they did some really good defending, especially blocks from just outside the box. Specifically, Gabriel made quite a few of them. Saliba and Gabriel's passing was sometimes a bit bad. They couldn't really get the ball to Jesus down the right. I felt like in the first half, I felt like some of our passes were completely off and we just weren't really focused, and we were so sloppy in making quick decisions and taking too long on the ball, which has to change if we are going to continue to get better. It'd be also nice to get some clarity on the players that are injured. Now, I keep understanding that we do it to keep it in the dark against teams that we're playing against. Liverpool don't know who's going to go against them, but I don't honestly think it's that deep. If Saka plays against Liverpool or not, they're not really going to change their system up because they know that Saka is our best player. If he doesn't play, that's still going to be a massive weakness. It ultimately doesn't matter on the day whether this happens, and it'd be nice to get some clarity on, is Saka actually going to be fit for these games? Now, overall, I don't want to be completely negative, so the positives are definitely Thomas Partey. I think since that Atalanta game away, where he was very poor in it and he had a lot of criticism on him, he's actually been really good for Arsenal. He still struggles, I think, with defensive movements running backwards, and there was a few times that he just doesn't track runners or doesn't keep up, which is not great. But when he moved into go-to right back. He actually played in centre-back a lot more, so Saliba did the running for him to sort of counteract that, which I like. And I think he's starting to gauge a real good ability of when to run and when not to run, which is making him a lot better. Martinelli in this game as well definitely got a lot of confidence. I think Martinelli was great throughout the whole game, but Calafiori definitely helps him. Calafiori makes these late underlapping or overlapping runs, which just give Martinelli a yard of space that be able to do something, and that's how he scored from, and he created a lot of other good opportunities from it. Now, Gabriel Jesus is probably the most interesting player in this game that I think is to talk about. He played in right wing, and he had such a bipolar game, I feel like. There was some things he did really well, and some things he did really poor, and I will be speaking about both of them. Overall, I think the good things he did, he's worked incredibly hard. Same with Martinelli and Havertz. I think they all worked really hard today, did some great defensive action. Jesus made some good tackles. He really did get into some good positions, and sometimes our attacks definitely flowed through him in that first half. However, on the counteract to that, some of our attacks completely broke down with him getting the ball. He'd slow play down, he wouldn't make the right decision, and I think it's quite clear his decision making in this game was awful in my opinion. There were so many times that he never used an overlapping run. White and Havertz kept running for him and he never passed it to them at all and would just give the ball away. And there was a few times he did some strange actions in the attacking third, which I think he has to improve on if he wants to play in this team. Now, maybe it's a confidence thing, you could argue, but I still think his dribbling and his overall play is good. It's just these things that are poor, which in my opinion is big enough not to be in the team. He also missed some good opportunities. I think overall he's so much better away from the final third, and as soon as he gets to the final third, he just makes poor decisions over and over again. He had a chance he should have scored, he didn't as well. And yeah, overall he's okay, but he's nowhere near the level of Saka, and I just think that he's probably better in this right wing spot than he has been up front, but I still don't think it's good enough in my opinion. But it's a weird game, and some people will take it as he played well and they'll watch him and see he played well, but in my opinion I look at the decision making a little bit more than others. Now, I felt like we controlled the game well in most parts until the end because we allowed pressure to come in. I wanted Jorginho to start this game because of that, but Partey played completely fine, so I don't really have an issue with that. But I do worry about the Liverpool game. We continually not play like this if we're going to have a chance against Liverpool. Of course, we need Saka and Timber to be back. Yet again, we don't know, and if they are back, I still believe we have a chance. But if they're not, we are really considerably weak in defence and in the wing positions, where people like Trossard have to play. And speaking about Trossard, I think he had a really poor game, and I have no idea why they gave the penalty to him. It's one of them things where they seem to give the penalties to the person that's probably been the worst, and I just don't think it is good enough. Havertz was on the record for 8 Emirates games in a goal, and he deserved it a lot more than Trossard. But in the end, Trossard took the penalty. It was awful down the middle. His first penalty he's taken in 3 years at club career, and it was not good enough, and it got saved. And I just think that summed up Trossard's game. I think he just couldn't really get a rhythm in this one, and some of the decision making we've been making. I think recently Arsenal have been really sloppy, and I don't really understand what we're doing from a board perspective and from a team perspective. I don't know what Arteta's doing with decisions. He took ages to do a sub again. Calafiori's now potentially injured, and this is going to catch up to us. And I think it is evidently clear without Saka and Odegaard, Arsenal lack so much creativity that we are basically hoping that one of our secondary attackers turns up to score. Overall, this isn't a complete rank because we won the game, but I would like to see us a little bit better, and hopefully we can turn up to Liverpool with a stronger team and a better performance. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.